What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Crush City Territory. I'm Chandler Rome, joined by Tyler Stafford and a special guest, the reigning Astros minor league pitcher of the year, Ethan Pecko, fresh off of his second appearance for AAA Sugarland last night, following Luis Garcia in his rehab start. First of all, Ethan, did Luis treat you guys well? What was the spread like after his rehab start?
Spread was great. All the big leaguers, they're super cool to be around. They're very genuine. They're just like us. It's a little shell shocking at first just to see these guys in the same locker room. But when you get to know them, they're just like us, just baseball players living out their dreams, and they've been great. So
you guys have, unfortunately for the major league club, the minor league team has seen a lot of rehabbers this season come through, whether you were in AA or AAA. Do you have one memory that sticks out from this year as a rehabbing guy coming through that you took something from, or watching them prepare and how they went about their business?
Watching Javier in Frisco was pretty cool because obviously we mentioned I'm from Philadelphia, was a Phillies fan, so I watched him pitch against the Phillies in the World Series. And that guy, he is cold-blooded. Like, it doesn't matter what's happening. He shows no emotion. He's very relaxed, very calm. His prep is great, and you wouldn't even think he's going into a baseball game the way he warms up and how easy it looks. So that was just super impressive to me, like how calm he really is. And that's why he's great in those big moments.
Do you know that he has the nickname El Reptile because they call him cold-blooded, or was that just – okay, There you go.
Yeah, I heard the nickname, and then I saw it in person, and I was like, that is the perfect nickname because that guy – it's almost like, I don't know if you guys watch golf, but it's almost like Dustin Johnson, where like you can't tell if he's doing bad or good because he just shows no emotion and he's super calm, and it's just really impressive to watch.
You were golf captain, right?
Yes.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
What are you shooting now?
Oh, I don't get to play enough. It depends. If I play well, I can shoot in the 70s, but I'm also a guy that could go shoot 90 if I'm not playing well. I've talked to Blue Ball. I've heard he's really good, so I'm looking to get out and play with him, spend a round out there with him. So
I can't add anything to this discourse. No. I've played one round of golf in my life, and it included me falling out of the cart on the 13th hole. On the 13th hole after a few beverages. That was the one round.
You're having fun.
It was a great time, man. Great time. Golf forever. Ethan, you mentioned you grew up 20 minutes outside of Philly. We're a Phillies fan. You mentioned the 2022 World Series. The Astros drafted you in 2023, so technically you could still get away with being a Phillies fan in the 2022 World Series. Did you get out to the bank at all for those 3 games? I was there covering it. That was an electric environment. Were you able to watch it, get to the ballpark for any of those?
So I was never there for any of the games because I was on campus at school, but I will say I was rooting very hard against the Astros that year. So it was funny when I got drafted, everyone was like, "Oh my God, congratulations, the Astros!" But now it's been great. I can't say enough things about how good this org is and how much they've helped me. I was a guy who came in throwing 2 pitches, and now I'm throwing 5, and their development is just off the charts, and they've really taken me to my full potential, and there's still a lot of untapped potential in there, but they've been great. So
you've already mentioned watching Javier, but that's another. The Astros have so many stories of guys who were either late round draft picks or quote unquote smaller signees in the international market and have just blown up since then. So I would imagine when you find out, oh, the Astros are going to draft me, like that, are you aware of kind of the different organizations and like what they do for development and stuff? Was that something that you were excited about when you found out that you were coming to the Astros?
I didn't know much about the development across any of the orgs, but the Astros, it kind of speaks for itself. They just win. They constantly win. They're bringing guys up every year. Even this year, last year, how many guys we've brought up from AAA that have contributed to the big league team. Like, you don't win this much if you're not doing something right. So when I got drafted to them, it was like, okay, this team knows what they're doing. It's a good org. They obviously like have the keys to success down. So just buy in and trust them and just take the opportunity and run with it. And that's kind of what I've done.
You mentioned you got into the org throwing 2 pitches. I have your Savant game log pulled up from last night. They say you threw 6 pitches last night: 4-seam, slider, curveball, cutter, changeup, sinker. We'll get to the development of the arsenal in a minute, but Tyler alluded to like the small school drafting that the Astros have been so adept at. I think you take it a step further.
Yeah.
Ethan, you were obviously you got drafted out of Talzin,
Yeah.
but that was not your first stop.
Mm-hmm.
You were at LaSalle as a freshman, and you correct me if I'm wrong on this. You underwent Tommy John surgery and did not pitch your first collegiate season at LaSalle.
Yep.
And then LaSalle axed their baseball program.
So yes, this was right after COVID. Coming out of high school, I had no offers. It was walk on. It was a D2. It was LaSalle, which was a D1, or it was a JUCO. So COVID happens. The world shuts down. I try to continue baseball. I get COVID. It's really like a choppy summer of throwing. And then LaSalle announces that the fall semester will be online. At the same time, I start dealing with some elbow issues, and then I try to rehab through that. At the end of September, they announced they're cutting the program, but they will continue the last season. So I'm dealing with a lot at this time. First semester of college, elbow injury, programs cut. It's kind of like, where do I go from here? And then I sent out probably 85 emails to colleges all over the place. I got 2 responses, and they were both like, "We're good, no thank you." So that was definitely tough, but I knew I wanted to play baseball no matter what. And luckily, my coach at LaSalle reached out to the coach at Towson and said, "Hey, we have this kid, good arm. He's coming back from surgery, but we think he can help." And they gave me a shot. I walked on there, and the rest is kind of history. So,
can you take me through what it's like when you get told, "Hey, we're cutting the baseball program"? Like what is going through your mind, and is there a point where you're ever like, "Man, like, am I going to even keep playing baseball?"
Definitely. So it was actually over Zoom. It was I think it was like 1:00 on like a Thursday or something like that, like super random. Coach sent like a thing like, "Hey, Zoom meeting in 5 minutes. Everyone has to be here. Like, here's the code." And we're all like, "What's going on?" And obviously I hadn't even stepped foot on campus yet because we were online. So it didn't hit me as much at first as it did some of the guys that had already been there. Because, we had a good team. Like, we had a really good team. Dave Miller was doing a lot of good things for the program. I think he's back there now as well because they brought it back. But a couple guys that are in the pros, Tatum Levins, he's with the Rays right now in AA. David Smith, he's with the Tigers. Frank Ellisalt, he's with the he's with the Cardinals. He just got traded from the Mets. Like, we had pro caliber guys on that team, and they took it away. And at the time, I didn't think pro baseball was even in the realm of possibility. And it wasn't. Getting surgery was almost a blessing in disguise because it showed me how much I wanted to play baseball when I was away from it and couldn't play baseball. So that just really motivated me. And I just look at getting elbow surgery like the best thing to ever happen to me. Honestly, it showed me where my priorities were and what I needed to work on and what I could do in this sport. So, despite all the craziness, it really is kind of, it all works out for a reason. So,
at what point in the next 2 years at Townsend do you start to realize like, oh, I could go pro? Because like you said, no offers out of high school. You miss your whole freshman year. You have to change schools.
yeah.
Not to mention you threw 60 total innings basically in college. Like how did the Astros find you? How did they know that you were going to be good? Like how does that happen?
I don't know. I just think, to whoever's watching this, that if you believe in yourself and if you're good enough, they will find you. The draft is a funny thing, and it works out that way. But I think after my first year at Talzin, I had thrown like 17 innings. They'd sat me down and they were like, hey, you can play professional baseball at the next level. You are good enough. And they kind of instilled that in me. And they were like, if you do these things, work on your body, take care of your arm, come back next year ready, you have the ability to get drafted. And then as soon as I heard that, it was kind of like, oh, I can do this. Like, I can really do this. I got the opportunity here. I'll get the innings here. I just need to stay healthy, and I can really do this. And then, I have my first full year at Towson that second year. A lot of ups and downs, dealing with a lot of stuff. First full year pretty much since Tommy John. And then it wasn't until summer ball where I really put it together, and, everything kind of came together and I threw really well. And that's kind of when I knew, like, hey, I can do this. Like, I'm good enough to compete with these guys. And then as you move through the org, I'm someone who, like last April, my first full year, or even we'll go back, my first short season outing. I mean, I still have it in my camera roll. It's like 1 out, 7 runs, 3 hits, 3 walks, something like that.
Have you seen the Sports Illustrated
Oh,
headline of that?
My dad, he made sure to send that to me.
Okay,
So,
good.
I'm someone who I feel like I respond well to the struggles, and I think the struggles are part of the process. I struggled a little bit last year in April, and then I kind of simplified it and was like, hey, go compete. Like, trust your stuff, compete. And then my year kind of took off, and then it felt like towards the end of the year, I could do no wrong. And then this year, obviously, I have a great spring. I was in a really good spot, and then I get hurt, which stunk, but I got hurt, rehabbed a little bit, and I thought I would just come back and I would just start cruising again and get right into it. And that was not the case. I had to kind of take a couple steps back to go forward. And obviously had a really good month of July, and then now I'm up here, and I know I can compete up here. I've showed flashes of it, but there's still a little struggle, still stuff I got to work on. But like I said, I think when that happens, I always respond well, and I think I'll finish out this next month and a half really well. So,
I mean, you really do kind of epitomize what makes the Astros player development system and their amateur scouting department so heralded. Is, I mean, they have a guy on their major league team right now that went to Millersville in Pennsylvania that made a pretty crucial catch at Citizens Bank Park in 2022. A guy that pitched last night that put himself that is right atop the Cy Young candidacy, went to Wayne State University. Doesn't matter where you go; it matters if you can play. And so, Ethan, you mentioned you threw 2 pitches in college, and now you're throwing up to 6. Take me through the Astros draft you. You get your picture taken, signing the contract and everything. They send you to West Palm. They send you to the Complex League. They sit you down with the org's pitching coaches. What do they tell you? Do they tell you, all right, we need to add this, this, and this? How do they break it to you that, hey, you're not going to live very long in pro ball if you can only throw 2 pitches?
Yeah. They didn't necessarily word it like that.
Right.
It was more so like, so being at a small school, like TrackMan and shapes and all that velo was never really a focus. It was like, throw it in the strike zone and get outs.
Yeah.
And then I get drafted, and it's like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. This is how you're going to do that. This is how you're going to do that. So as soon as I get there, I threw like a 2-seam in college. They were like, we're not going to do that. They were like, you're going to throw a 4-seam. And I was like, I don't know if my 4-seam shape is going to be great. Turns out they were right. And then they go to the sweeper. The sweeper is a big pitch in the org. We do some like softball work and back shaping stuff like that. And while we're working on the sweeper, I said to him, I was like, I think I could throw a cutter too. So I kind of added that myself, and they allowed it. And then just like that, we're at 3 new pitches. And then the curveball is something I always had. I just never really utilized it that much. They're like, yeah, you're going to throw that as well. And then the changeup has been a pitch that even now I'm still working on. I have I'll throw one with a really good shape, and I'll throw another one that's not as good. So that's a pitch I have to clean up. But yeah, it was like get drafted, and then 2 weeks later, I'm throwing 5 pitches, and it's just they like mention how important throwing program is. When you're in college, it's like, all right, get your throwing in, shag BP, pickoffs, PFPs. When you get drafted, it's like you spend an hour on throwing, and you just really focus on throwing and working on your throw. And I think that was a huge thing, just like improving my throwing program and, pitch, and then 2 days later, 3 days later, bullpen, and then pitch, and then 3 days later, bullpen. So I think just more reps, like just the continuous reps, just really helps. So
I know you can't divulge proprietary information, but I would love to hear just the experience going from, like you said, a place that didn't have TrackMan, that didn't really have,
yeah.
kind of that higher level stuff. Like, what does it look like to add a pitch? Do they look at you and say your body type, your extension point, whatever, like, we think that you would be a good fit for this pitch? Or is it just, hey, everybody throws a sweeper, let's show you how to like, how do you add a new pitch and improve on that so quickly?
I think it's just, like I said, obviously repetition, but they know what they want out of their guys when you get drafted here. Obviously, I'm a lower slot guy, so I don't necessarily need to hop it at 20 or vertical break. I don't know.
Mhm.
You guys familiar with that term?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um,
We just talked about Christian Javier.
yeah. He's one of a kind. So I don't need to hop it at 20, but they showed me that, like, hey, if you can get it to 15, 16, it's going to play really well with your slot and your vertical approach angle. And so just learning more about yourself really helps, like, sure up that this pitch will give you success if you just trust us. And then the sweeper, the Astros love that pitch. Something that is another pitch I'm still working on a little bit. I've shown flashes of it being really good, but it's just a consistency thing at this point. So I think they have their pitches they like for their guys to throw, but not everyone's the same. And I think you just throw it, and then you go from there and you see, okay, this is going to work. This isn't going to work. And then you just build off that. And, once you get those good reps, you just kind of chase those good reps on and on and on. And obviously, you got to be in the strike zone, but they're big on developing the stuff and then get it in zone and then throw that nasty stuff in zone a lot. So
You just mentioned, IVB, like 20 inches a hop. Like, did you even know about any of that at Talzin? Like, or are you learning like an entire new language when you come in?
So when we first got drafted, the whole first week was the pitching coordinator going over, this is what a hoppy four seam looks like, and this is what a hop cut is, and this is what a sweeper does, and this is how it looks on the chart, and these are the blue zones and the red zones, and if you throw this with this much movement at this speed, it's going to be in the blue zone. So, like, learning that stuff was really cool, just because it was something I didn't even know was a thing before I got drafted. So they kind of break it down as soon as you get there, and then you get to work.
That was
So are you?
That was
are y'all just all in there just going like, who are these nerds with all of these charts? Like, do you just switch over from jock mode to like, oh, cool, I'm in like college class taking notes, or how does that work?
I think for me it's a little different. Obviously, smaller schools. Some guys from the bigger schools know more about this stuff. But yeah, everyone was kind of like, oh, like, this is cool. Like, okay, how do we do this now? Like,
Yeah.
what do we do to get this pitch to do that? So it was definitely really cool.
Ethan, have you surprised yourself just with how quickly your success has come? Given, I mean, we're talking about you are learning just an entire new arsenal, really, and you've done it in 2 years. I mean, we just said you were drafted in 2023, and now you got up to TripleA this season. Have you surprised yourself with how quickly this has come and how quickly maybe the success has come for you?
Definitely. I mean, how could I not? Like, I know I'm good, but to be this close at this age and this amount of time, it's definitely been surprising. But I think it's only surprising when you kind of look back on it. When you stay in the moment, you realize it's just baseball. Everyone's competing. Nobody's this much better than you. Like if you do the work and you trust the process, like you can hang. And yes, I've been surprised, but also I feel like I can compete, and I feel like I've shown that I can compete at the next level. So it's kind of just about staying in the present and doing what you can to work on things and then letting the rest take care of itself. So
When I get prospects and when I get young players, then I interview them, I always like to see like who they emulated growing up, like who they watched growing up. I mean, you can pick a Philly or you can pick someone else. Is there a player or a pitcher that you watched growing up that you were like, I want to be like that guy?
all right, I can give you a couple. So younger me would say Roy Halladay, obviously.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic pitcher with a devastating changeup and just a Phillies legend. So rest in peace, obviously. Present me, I love watching Zach Wheeler pitch. He's just so impressive. I mean, he does it every year. It's 150 innings every year. He's dominant every year. He's got crazy extension, 5-6 pitches. So he's just super impressive to watch. He's like, I could sit down and watch Zach Wheeler pitch for 4 hours and just not lose track of time. Honestly, he's my favorite pitcher to watch. And then DeGrom is another guy that I just love watching. You know, he's also a unicorn, and when he's at the top of his game, he's, in my opinion, the best pitcher I've ever watched. So
I assume I grew up here, and as an Astros fan, I assume we both have the love of Roy Oswalt then too. Dude,
had a jersey as a kid.
Absolutely. I drew 44s on all my journals and stuff growing up. I mean, I told Chandler didn't get to watch him as much because he didn't grow up here. And I was like, dude, that guy, the curveball it almost started flat and then came up and then back down. It was like a roller coaster curve that he would throw. I loved watching him pitch.
That Phillies rotation. I mean, you had
disgusting.
Valdez, Hamels, Cliff Lee, Oswalt, and then you had Joe Blanton hitting home runs.
Yep.
End of the rotation. So
Brad Lidge too. I mean, that was a nasty pitching staff.
Yeah, it's a good Phillies team. So they should have won more than one.
It's tough. You probably don't want to hear about 44 as it relates to the modern era Phillies, given what Yordan Alvarez did in games.
I remember that moment. Alvarado, that was tough.
Me too. That was a cool one.
Well, it was tough for me. I'm sure it was great for you guys.
I think one of my favorite clubhouse interactions with anyone, Mauricio Dubon, I think it was last year. The Astros were on a pretty long winning streak, and it came to an end against the Phillies at Daikin, and I think it was Dubon who struck out against Alvarado to end the game. And we weren't interviewing Dubon about like striking out to end the game. It was more of like, hey, how great was this win streak and everything. And the first thing he said was, I have so much more respect for Yordan Alvarez now than I ever thought I did, because I just faced Jose Alvarado, and like I have no clue how he hit that ball last year to dead center in games.
In that moment against that guy, it's one of the most impressive home runs I've ever watched.
No.
So I think Yordan Alvarez, he's so.
There's a lot of people listening that would agree with you. Ethan, before we get you out of here, you're in AAA now. You're in Sugarland. Like we mentioned, you made your second appearance last night after Luis Garcia's rehab started. What has been your early impressions of the Space Cowboys? And I get it. You've only had 2 appearances, but what do you think, or what have you maybe been told is the biggest adjustment you'll have to make going from AA to AAA? And is there a little bit more, I don't know about mental energy, but is there a little bit more just a heightened awareness that you're a call away now? You're a step away from the big leagues.
Absolutely. I mean, you see it in the locker room. Like, John Singleton's in the locker room, Bryce Matthews, Jacob Melton, who just got called back up. And then you see it on the other side. You see guys that have been in the big leagues, played in the big leagues. You know, there's guys in our bullpen that have 2, 3, 4 years of service. So you definitely realize it. I've said to other people that this jump, AA to AAA, just feels not only the coolest, but like the most important. You can just kind of feel the energy. It feels like a big league team and a big league locker room, the way everyone goes about their business. And the biggest thing for me is, adjusting to the baseball a little bit, and then adjusting to the strike zone. You can really feel the strike zone. And if you're not getting ahead, if you're not getting in zone early, that these guys aren't going to swing. They know the zone so well, and it's not a big strike zone. So that's been the biggest adjustment for me. But I feel like I've done well. The strikeouts are there. It's just limiting certain things, and you just have to focus a little bit more pitch by pitch and really just be dialed in each outing, because if you let one batter get away from you, who knows what happens in the next batter. It could be a double off the wall. It could be a single up the middle where a guy steals and now it's first and third, and now you're in a hole. So just really focusing in and trusting your stuff and getting in zone has been the biggest thing for me.
All right, we've made it 25 minutes, and I've been I've waited on this. If you're watching on YouTube, Ethan, I am personally rooting for you just because my Halloween costume will be locked up for a good while. If you ever need a stunt double, I feel like I can come in there and trick anybody. Yeah, for sure.
You might have to grow the hair out a little bit.
I know. Well, I used to have real hair. Now I'm old and balding, so I can't compete with you there. But definitely will lock up a solid Halloween costume. So you got some extra pressure from me on that end.
That's what you have to look forward to, Ethan. I apologize in advance. But this was excellent. We appreciate you taking time, especially after you pitched last night.
Yeah.
Going 4 innings in a professional baseball game is no laughing matter. You probably wanted to sleep in, but I appreciate you getting up, taking some time to talk to us. I know our fans will love hearing from you, and continued best of luck in TripleA. And who knows, maybe we'll see you in the big leagues sometime soon.
Yep. Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Ethan. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Ethan. And we'll be back with another segment right after a message from our friends at Foul Territory.
AJ, I'm on my phone right now in Arena Club, and I'm looking at the Emerald slab packs, and I see in the Grail a Bobby Witt Jr. 2020 Bowman Chrome Prospect Auto Gold Refractor card.
Give me that. Give me your phone. I'm gonna get you to
you gotta buy
that to me.
I don't have it.
I thought you had it.
Get a slab pack. No, I don't have that.
Then give me your slab pack.
That card's worth.
You buy me slab pack, Scott, so I can get the Bobby Witt Jr. Gold Refractor 2020 Bowman Chrome Auto, because that sounds awesome.
And it's worth a lot.
It's worth a lot. He's a stud. He's not going down. Get a Grail. I want a Grail, Scott. Give me the Holy Grail. You do it.
To do that, you must get yourself a slab pack in Arena Club. Or if you want to get it for a friend, you can do that too. And right now, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or your first card purchase. If you're going on there and you're just like, hey, I want a specific card. I find it there. I want to grab it for my showroom. arenaclub.com/foul and use the code FOUL.
Tyler, that was fun.
He was great.
He was awesome. For someone that, I don't know how much media exposure Ethan's had, especially going to Talzin. I don't think there were beat writers lining up to cover Talzin Baseball. Really polished, really well-spoken. And I thought it was fascinating to hear. That's the first time I'd really heard what they do with the guys right after
Super cool.
Them. I assume it was Eric Neeson, their former pitching coordinator, who's now the pitching coach at Wake Forest, brought him in and they're basically teaching them a class. Here's how you pitch. Here's how you pitch at the professional level. That was really cool to hear.
If you could pass that along to them, I did write the onboarding training for my sales organization that I work in. So if they need some help with onboarding these guys, I'm really good at PowerPoints, making some presentations. So I'd be happy to help out there if anybody needs that.
Yeah, just have a blue zone and a red zone. It sounds like.
How hard can it be?
Yeah.
Hey, have you guys considered throwing better pitches?
Have you guys?
We thought of that.
Please throw strikes. Decent advice. Astros last night got. I don't want to say it was certainly not a must-win game, but a feel-good win. Certainly after what was said pregame about Josh.
I will say it was a must-save win. Abreu had to make that save. That's what it was.
Yeah. A lot of interesting things in that one. We're not going to talk about the game itself that much, but I wrote a little bit about it in The Athletic this morning. Watching Hunter Brown just completely shelve his fastball after the first time through which is the second best fastball in the sport behind maybe Joe Ryan's. Watching him carve through that lineup with his secondary stuff, with his curveball, his changeup, his sinker, it really shows the evolution of Hunter Brown, just kind of how well-rounded of a pitcher he is, that he doesn't just need to bully you with 97 at the top rail with the four seam, that he can go away from what is one of the best pitches in baseball and still be really effective. I thought it was, he's had better outings in terms of swing and miss. He's had better outings in terms of just stuff. But, I mean, I thought that was a real growth outing for Hunter Brown to really show you that this kid he's an ace. And he is a guy. What do we talk about with aces all the time? It's like, if you don't have your best stuff, you still find a way to get through 6. Or if an opposing lineup takes away your best pitch, you still have other methods to neutralize them. Hunter did both of those last night. He was excellent.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, whenever a guy can get outs without being on their game that day, and I feel like we've said that a lot about Hunter Brown this year, where it's like, I mean, he's been incredible, but still, he's able to just get through it without having his best stuff at the time, and to see those adjustments, like you said, is really impressive, and that speaks to the preparation, the coaching staff, and the ability to just turn on a dime, in the middle of a game and say, okay, this isn't working. Let's go with this other plan. And to watch it play out was really cool. You were at the game. I always love the broadcast from weird locations games. Big fan of those. I love on the home run calls that the mics like clip because everyone's screaming too loud around them. You can't really hear what they're saying. It's great. I love that. It's a lot of fun to watch those games.
Did Blummer react to the Pena leadoff homer? That was almost 2.
Oh, it was great. Like I said, it's clipping so much that it sounds like he's yelling through like a megaphone or something, like a bullhorn. But it was great. Yeah, I love that they do that. It was a lot of fun.
Dude, the ball's coming right to me. Dude, I got my glove. Brian Abreu came in, or Bennett Sousa. First of all, Bennett Sousa, good Lord. That slider was nasty last night, got 4 huge outs. And then, as Joe Espada so eloquently put it, Brian Abreu got pissed off after he gave up 2 singles to start the 9th inning, hit 100 a couple of times. Looks the part of a closer and will probably be a closer for the rest of the season, given the foreboding news that Joe Espada shared before the game that Josh Ader is seeking a second opinion on his left shoulder strain. I'm not going to sit here and speculate, but I think everyone with a working brain can understand if you're seeking a second opinion, it's because you didn't really love what the first opinion said. Joe Espada wouldn't really reveal what the first opinion was. He said that the team wants to give Josh some space to seek a second opinion. This does not sound good. It does not sound like he is going to be back anytime soon. I don't want to speculate beyond that, but suffice to say, Brian Abreu will be getting the bigger outs of many Astros games going forward.
I'm not a real journalist, so I can speculate all I want. That sucks.
Yep.
It's not good. It's going to be bad news when it comes. Yeah, you don't get second opinions if the first opinion is good. I'm sure you're getting second opinions a lot of times anyway. But anytime someone says, hey, this professional athlete needs some space to process what we just learned, that's bad. That's not a good sign. I feel for Josh Ader. He's had an incredible year. The Astros are going to have to keep doing what they've done all year, which is, hey, our best player is now hurt. Who else can do this? And they've made it this far, so we'll see. But man, speedy recovery for Josh. Honestly, I'm not even hoping for speedy. I'm just hoping for recovery for Josh. I hope that whatever's going on, he's able to come back from, get back to the level that he's been at, because he's one of the best relievers in baseball, and it really stinks to see that taken away from injury.
Yeah, just I hate to steal Joe Espada's words, but a gut punch. If this happens, I hate to think of it like this, but I mean, if this happens a month ago, Dana Brown's got 2 weeks to go to the trade deadline, and pitching is a bigger priority. Like, you can go fix this if this happens 3 weeks ago, but there is no more non-waiver.
There weren't a lot of Josh haters available at the deadline.
But you again, and I want to make this clear too, because I was getting some pushback in comment sections, which I should definitely always keep reading.
Mm-hmm.
And just when you keep bringing up that the Astros didn't address pitching at the deadline, and like they didn't have a hater. Like, no, they didn't, but they could have gotten like another setup guy to help have depth behind who is now Brian Abreu, the closer. Like, it didn't just have to be go out and get Duran or go out and get, whatever, David Bednar or Camilo Duvall. Like, you didn't have to go get a closer. You could have gotten this is an organization that is really good at identifying pitching that they can turn around to. We just talked to a guy for 25 minutes that they went and found in Podunk nowhere, Maryland, and now have him throwing 5 pitches on the precipice of being in the big leagues. So, it's a tough situation. This is the team they have, though. Like, there is no more. They can go on the waiver wire and try to find like an El De Los Santos. Like, they can go get some other guys, but they can't make trades. Like, this is it. This is who they have, and they're going to have to just kind of compensate. And it's going to put a lot more pressure, Tyler, on the starting pitching to get to a point where these guys aren't having to get 10 or 11 outs a night. Like, Hunter Brown didn't finish the 7th inning last night, but that new look bullpen still only had to get 7 outs. Like, you can deal with getting 7 outs. When you start talking about 10 or 11 outs, that's when you start to walk a slippery slope, especially without Josh Hader. So it's going to put a lot of onus on Hunter Brown, and it's going to put a ton of onus on Frober Valdez, who is starting Friday's series opener against the Orioles. And Tyler, he needs to bounce back a little bit, because he's had 2 consecutive starts that I think if you watched both starts, they weren't maybe as disastrous as the line would indicate, but certainly not the Frober that he had been for the last 3 months of the year. His last 2 starts, he's allowed, 15 hits in 11 2/3 innings, has a 6.94 ERA. But as we just said, that 6.94 ERA in his last 2 starts, he's a 3.97 FIP. So that disparity shows you there's some poor luck there, but they need Frober Valdez to be the Frober that we know he is.
Yeah, they had won 13 straight Frober starts, and the Astros have now lost the last 3 Frober starts. Still great record overall. They're 15-8 in Frober starts this year. But looking at him, the last 2 games he's pitched, he has combined for 11 2/3 innings and 4 strikeouts.
Yeah.
So what I'm really looking for in this next game, obviously just a win. That would be real nice. But I'm looking to see him bounce back with strikeouts and get the curveball working, get the sinker working. That's what I'm looking for here.
The biggest thing, and like you just alluded to it, the biggest thing, his curveball has not been what it was earlier in the season. And when he doesn't have that, he has to rely on the sinker. And look, the sinker's a great pitch, but sinker, he's going to allow balls in play. And when you put the ball in play, some weird stuff can happen, as we just evidenced by, he's had a lot of infield hits. He's had a lot of just balls that have found holes, things like that. But he's got to get his curveball working. And, it's one of these things that tomorrow's a big start for Frober. Tomorrow's a big start for the Astros. And it's one reason that Frober Valdez is the focus of our DraftKings player spotlight. Tyler, you mentioned, Frober has not had the strikeout pitches or the strikeout numbers that we are accustomed to seeing from him. He's going to get an Orioles lineup that Gunnar Henderson's still there. Adley Rutschman's still there. Not a ton else. They sold at the deadline. This has been one of the most, if not the most, disappointing teams in baseball. They have an interim manager. This is a get-right spot for Frober Valdez, and the Astros really need him to get right.
Yeah, so looking at his DraftKings profile, I'm looking for both under on walks, because last game he had 4 walks, which is Not the norm for Frober, especially not as of late, and 1 strikeout. So I think that's a point of emphasis for him in this start. I'm looking at overs on strikeouts, unders on walks, because like you said, Orioles are not a very good lineup. I would imagine Frober has been thinking a lot about his last 3 starts and really wants to come in and correct those. And like we said, he's going to throw 100 pitches no matter what. So he's going out there and getting deep into the games, and I would expect to see an uptick in strikeouts and getting those walks under control.
You mentioned the Orioles. This is an Orioles lineup that this season has a 659 OPS against left-handed pitching.
Yeah.
They have a 297 on-base percentage against left-handed pitching. This is the epitome of a get-right game for Frober Valdez, who it has to, Hunter Brown showed on Thursday on Wednesday, excuse me, that's what aces do. Frober Valdez needs to follow him on Friday against a bad lineup that is playing out the string at home on a big weekend where I think this is Billy Wagner weekend. I could be wrong. I think
it's always Billy Wagner weekend.
Sure.
To me.
So a fellow left-hander and Frober Valdez can get on the mound. And if you believe Tyler and if you believe his analysis, you can go to, here on DraftKings, maybe get the under on walks, as Tyler suggested, the over on strikeouts against this very, very pedestrian Baltimore lineup. And if you want to do so, you can download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use the code FOUL. That's code FOUL. New customers, you play $5 and get $50 in bonus picks instantly. You can ride the upside where a few bucks can turn into a bag, only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
We'll end it with another push to keep buying merch. Shop, please keep buying merch. Shop Crush City Territory shop.com. We're still waiting on the hats. The hats, I think there was one thing kind of amiss with the embroidering on the hats. So the hats are coming. I've spoken to people.
You big embroidering guy now? You know what the difference was?
Oh yeah, I'm an embroidery aficionado.
Ooh.
Yeah, big word. So Crush City Territory Shop.com. If you're on YouTube, you can see the address right there, and then we're putting up the promo right there. You can scan that QR code, and it takes you straight to the shop. Coffee mugs, water bottles. I got my lightweight hoodie in yesterday. If it wasn't 98 degrees in Houston right now, I'd wear it to support the thing, but I don't want to be sweating on this podcast. So, but I tried it on last night. Loved it. Highly recommend getting it. Highly recommend going to Crush City Territory Shop.com, ordering today. We'll let you know when the hats do appear on the shop, but please guys, keep buying the merch and keep rating and reviewing us on Apple and Spotify. You can leave comments as always on Spotify as well. If you want, you can follow me on X at Chandler_Rome. You can follow Tyler at Tyler C. Stafford. Again, we appreciate Ethan Pecko joining us. That was a really, really fun 20-25 minutes to start this podcast. If you liked more of that, we'll try to have more prospects on. We'll try to get some more players on. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get notified anytime that happens. Anytime we get a new video up, you'll get alerted anytime that happens. We'll have Josh back on Sunday to recap the series against the Baltimore Orioles and preview what everyone presumed in spring training, a massive September series against the Detroit Tigers at Comerica Park, where Tyler could get real interesting on Tuesday. If these teams stay in rotation, Hunter Brown versus Tarek Skubal on Tuesday at Comerica Park, that could be lit, as the kids say. But before that, the Astros have to take care of the Baltimore Orioles, and that'll start tomorrow at Dyken Park as part of Hall of Fame weekend with Billy Wagner coming back. They're retiring his number. That'll be fun for the fans. It'll be even more fun, I believe, or I presume, if the Astros can somehow find a way to win 2 of 3, and we'll be back to discuss that and everything else on Sunday. As always, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.
Taylor Swift, you have an open invitation to come on here and discuss the art of sourdough bread making. I too indulge. So we'd love to have you on. Bye.